Every day, millions of Generation Alpha children, born after 2010, return home not only to a physical space, but also to a digital one. The virtual worlds of Roblox, Minecraft, and Discord servers become a full-fledged social environment for them, where friendships are formed, first projects are born, and self-identification occurs. These are not just games or chats, these are new territories of socialization, where children find their place in a collective, learn to interact, and resolve conflicts. Unlike previous generations for whom the digital space was an addition to the real world, for Alpha children, the line between virtual and physical blurs. They easily switch between realities, perceiving online communities as a natural extension of their social circle. Digital platforms turn into territories where children not only play, but also form their first serious emotional connections, gain a sense of belonging, and share collective values. All that previously happened exclusively in yards, schools, and clubs. In virtual worlds, Generation Alpha children find their digital tribes based on principles surprisingly similar to the real world. The formation of online communities begins with common interests. Whether it's a specific game mode in Roblox, a large-scale construction project in Minecraft, or a thematic server on Discord. It is around these centers of attraction that the first connections are formed. On the Roblox platform, children unite into teams to create virtual theme parks, stores, or entire cities. The process of finding their tribe here occurs through gameplay, when a child finds players with a similar playstyle, creative ambitions, or simply a sense of humor. Emotional compatibility also becomes an important factor. Children are intuitively drawn to those with whom they feel understood and accepted. In Minecraft, communities often form around large-scale projects that require collective effort. Here, children naturally distribute roles. Some become architects, others resource gatherers, and still others defenders of the territory from monsters. This spontaneous organization remarkably resembles traditional social structures, where everyone finds a niche according to their talents and preferences. Discord acts as a kind of digital village where more stable connections are formed. Here, virtual communities acquire a clear structure: leaders, moderators, active participants, and newcomers emerge. Children quickly master this hierarchy, finding their place in it. Some become event organizers, some peacemakers in conflicts, and some guardians of group traditions and memes. Roblox has long ceased to be merely a gaming platform for Generation Alpha. Today, it's an entire social universe where children not only entertain themselves, but also build complex emotional connections, learn cooperation, and create genuine communities with their own rules and traditions. Take a look at the popular game Adopt Me on the Roblox platform. Here, children form virtual families, assign roles as parents and children, and care for pets. It might seem like a simple game, but behind it lies a deep process of socialization. Children learn responsibility, empathy, and how to agree on rules. It's not uncommon for such virtual families to exist for months, with their members spending several hours together daily, forming strong emotional bonds. In Brookhaven RP, children create entire communities with assigned professions. Some become police officers, some doctors, some teachers. They don't just play role-playing games. They collectively build an entire social microcosm. It's noteworthy that in this process, skills essential for real life are formed. The ability to follow rules, resolve conflicts, and work in a team. The phenomenon of virtual friends in Roblox deserves special attention. For many children of Generation Alpha, online friends become emotionally significant figures to whom they entrust their secrets and experiences. Research shows that these relationships can be just as deep as friendships in the real world. Children describe their Roblox friends as those who will always understand, who accept me for who I am. For Generation Alpha, Discord has long ceased to be merely an application for voice communication during games. Today, it is a full-fledged digital home where children spend a significant part of their time forming close emotional bonds and building complex social structures, surprisingly reminiscent of family relationships. A typical children's Discord server has a clear hierarchy and role system. At the head is usually the founder, the child who created the server and established the initial rules. Below are the moderators, trusted members who ensure compliance with communication norms. Further down are active community members with various roles marked by colored badges: artists, gamers, musicians, memers. Each such server becomes a microcosm with its own language, traditions, and rituals. Children create special channels for different activities: game discussions, creative workshops, places for private conversations. Their own holidays emerge: server birthdays, virtual Friday parties, weekly tournaments. Psychologically, belonging to such a community satisfies children's fundamental need for acceptance and recognition. At an age when identity formation occurs through peer relationships, Discord servers provide Generation Alpha children with a space where they can be heard, where their opinions hold weight, and their talents are recognized. It is noteworthy that many children describe their Discord communities precisely in family terms: my second home, my online family, a place where I am always welcome. Server founders often take on parental functions, setting boundaries, resolving conflicts, and looking after newcomers. Minecraft has evolved into something more than just a game with blocks. It's a unique social platform where co-creation becomes the foundation for forming strong children's communities. Unlike many other games, there are no pre-written scripts here. There's only an endless world and boundless opportunities for collaborative creation. When children of Generation Alpha unite in Minecraft, an amazing transformation occurs. The virtual space turns into a training ground for developing real social skills. Joint construction of large-scale projects requires role distribution, planning, and constant communication. Some children become architects, developing the overall plan. Others are resource gatherers, supplying materials for construction. Still others take on the role of defenders of the territory from virtual monsters. It's amazing to observe how 10-year-olds self-organize to create impressive projects. For example, a group of school children from different cities spent 3 months meticulously recreating the ancient Greek Acropolis, studying historical literature for accurate reproduction of proportions and details. Another community of children built a functioning virtual city with a public transport system, schools, and even its own economy based on resource exchange. In Minecraft's survival mode, blinds between children strengthen particularly strongly. When resources are limited and dangers are real, children learn to trust each other, share spoils, and come to each other's aid in difficult situations. This experience of collective overcoming difficulties creates an emotional connection comparable to that which arises during joint adventures in the real world. Paradoxically, even while constantly immersed in an online environment, children of Generation Alpha can experience profound loneliness. This phenomenon has been dubbed virtual loneliness, a state where a child is technically engaged in numerous digital communities, yet emotionally remains isolated. Thousands of likes and comments do not replace true intimacy, and sometimes merely highlight its absence. Research shows that up to 30% of children actively participating in online communities like Roblox, Minecraft, or Discord admit to feelings of alienation. 11-year-old Sonia from Novosibirsk, an administrator of a popular Discord server with over 200 members, confessed in a private conversation, "Sometimes I talk to them every day, but no one knows what I truly feel. It's like I'm playing a role, and the real me no one sees." What provokes this virtual loneliness? Firstly, the superficiality of many online interactions. When communication is limited to short messages about gaming achievements or jokes, deep emotional connections do not form. Secondly, the fear of vulnerability. In a digital space where every word can be saved and used against you, children often prefer to wear a mask, hiding their true feelings. Virtual loneliness becomes particularly acute when a child faces real difficulties, conflicts at school, family problems, first love. At such moments, it becomes evident that virtual friends, ready to help build a castle in Minecraft, are not always capable of offering emotional support in real-life situations. The risk of virtual loneliness increases for children who use online communities as a substitute, rather than a supplement, to real-life communication. When a child attempts to satisfy all social needs exclusively in the digital space, an imbalance arises that is not compensated for even by the most active online interactions. Behind bright avatars and friendly emojis in children's online communities, a dark side of digital interaction sometimes hides. Virtual spaces, conceived as territories for creativity and communication, can turn into arenas for psychological violence, where Generation Alpha faces new forms of social aggression. Digital bullying in children's online groups has its unique features. Unlike traditional bullying in the schoolyard, it doesn't end with the bell from the last lesson. Aggressors can pursue the victim around the clock through private messages, public comments, and group chats. 13-year-old Maxim recounts, "Group exclusion is becoming an especially dangerous phenomenon. On the Roblox platform, there are common cases where a child is suddenly excluded from an established community without explanation, blocked from accessing joint projects, and false information is spread among other groups. This form of ostracism inflicts serious psychological trauma, undermining basic trust in social relationships. Manipulative practices also flourish in children's digital communities. More experienced users can exploit the naivety of newcomers, detecting valuable virtual items or personal information. In Roblox, there have been recorded cases where children were persuaded to hand over account passwords or spend real money from parents on in-game purchases. The architecture of platforms sometimes unconsciously contributes to negative phenomena. The system of achievements and ratings can provoke unhealthy competition. Anonymity lowers the threshold of social responsibility. Limited moderation tools cannot keep up with the ingenuity of aggressors who find new ways to bypass filters and rules. An avatar in the virtual world is not just a picture. For a Gen Alpha child, it's a means of self-expression, a first experience in identity creation, and a tool for social interaction. Through their digital representative, children learn to communicate, cooperate, and build relationships, later transferring these skills to real life. Research reveals a surprising fact. Participation in healthy virtual communities can significantly improve children's communication skills. In Minecraft, where success depends on teamwork, children master collaborative interaction skills. 10-year-old Artyom from Kazan, shy at school, became the coordinator of a large-scale construction project, learning to articulate tasks clearly and motivate a team of 15 peers. In Discord communities, children develop emotional intelligence, learning to recognize a собеседник's mood even without visual cues, solely from text and voice. They master the art of empathy, supporting comrades in difficult situations whether it's a game failure or real-life problems. However, potential problems also exist. Children accustomed to instant reactions in chats may struggle with maintaining a prolonged face-to-face conversation. The virtual environment allows editing messages before sending, which can hinder spontaneous communication in the real world, where one cannot pause or erase what has been said. The phenomenon of transferring virtual communication patterns into reality deserves special attention. Some children begin to use gaming slang in everyday speech, expect instant feedback from interlocutors, or try to restart an unpleasant social situation, as is possible in a game. Parental control in the world of virtual communities is not just a technical tool, but a true art of balancing between protecting a child and respecting their digital autonomy. Modern parents often find themselves at a crossroads between two extremes: complete prohibition and complete non-interference. Both strategies carry their own risks. Prohibiting parents who block any access to online platforms often don't understand that they are depriving children of important social experience. 12-year-old Masha from Moscow recounts, "On the other hand, non-interfering parents who grant children complete freedom in the digital world miss the opportunity to protect them from real dangers." Psychologist Elena Sokolova notes, "The golden mean is conscious parental accompaniment. This is an approach where the parent becomes not a supervisor, but a partner." Practical steps include jointly exploring the platforms where the child spends time, getting to know their virtual friends, and open conversations about digital safety. Creating family agreements instead of strict rules becomes an effective strategy. For example, instead of banning Discord, one can agree on time limits and the openness of servers for parental review. It's important that the child perceives these measures not as distrust, but as a manifestation of care. Another key aspect is teaching digital literacy. Parents who themselves understand the mechanics of online platforms can better assess risks and opportunities. The father of 11-year-old Kirill created his own Roblox account not for surveillance, but to understand his son's hobby and to have a common language for discussion. Creating a healthy online environment for children begins with establishing clear community rules. Effective virtual groups don't arise by chance. They are formed through the conscious efforts of all participants. The first step is to collaboratively develop a code of conduct. Involve children in this process, ask them what rules they consider important. When a child participates in creating the rules, they are more likely to follow them. It's important to establish specific, understandable norms: respectful communication, prohibition of insults, and confidentiality of personal information. The rules should be accessible to all participants and discussed regularly. Parents should help children formulate these principles using positive wording, not "rudeness is forbidden," but "we communicate with respect." Special attention should be paid to the procedure for accepting new members. A healthy community should be open to newcomers, but with a system of gradual involvement. Experienced users can become mentors for new arrivals, helping them settle in and feel part of the group. This approach not only facilitates adaptation, but also fosters leadership qualities and empathy in children. Conflicts are an inevitable part of any community. Teach children to resolve them constructively, listen to all sides, seek compromises, and involve a mediator if necessary. It's useful to create a special channel or chat for discussing contentious situations, where one can express themselves in a calm environment. How to recognize a toxic community. Pay attention to alarming signs: constant ridicule of beginners' mistakes, a cult of exclusivity, secrecy, encouragement of risky behavior, pressure, and manipulation. If a child becomes withdrawn or anxious after interacting in a group, or avoids talking about what's happening there, this is a serious cause for concern. If the community turns out to be toxic, it's important to know how to leave it properly. Teach your child to save digital evidence of unacceptable behavior, block aggressive users, and not engage in public conflicts when leaving the group. Sometimes the best strategy is to quietly leave the community without dramatic statements that could provoke harassment. Virtual communities open up new horizons for Gen Alpha children, but the real magic happens when digital connections evolve into real-life relationships. This bridge between worlds becomes a key element in the healthy social development of modern children. The story of 12-year-old Polina from Yekaterinburg shows how a virtual community can be a starting point for deep offline friendships. After meeting like-minded individuals on a Minecraft server dedicated to ecological construction, the girl and her virtual friends decided to bring their ideas to life. With the support of their parents, they organized a meeting in a city park, where they planted trees following the same scheme as in the game. Today, this group not only meets regularly offline, but has also launched a school environmental project. Such success stories are not accidental. They are the result of a thoughtful approach to connecting online and offline worlds. It is important to understand that the transition from virtual communication to real-life interaction requires gradualness and adherence to safety measures. The first step is virtual verification. Before planning a meeting, ensure the authenticity of the child's online friends through video calls. Parents should get acquainted with the families of potential friends, exchange contacts, and discuss the format of the meeting. The choice of the first meeting is crucial. The ideal option is a public place with adults present at a comfortable distance. This could be a thematic event related to the children's shared interests, a Minecraft festival, a robotics competition, or a creative workshop. Such a format reduces social anxiety and provides a natural topic for communication. For younger children, family meetings are effective, where parents get to know each other while the children interact in a familiar format. Teenagers value greater autonomy, but initial meetings should still take place in a safe, public space. It is important to prepare the child for possible differences between virtual and real-life communication. Explain that a person may look and behave differently than their online persona, and that is normal. Discuss basic safety rules. Do not share personal information. Do not go with strangers. Always have the ability to contact parents. When the bridge between the virtual and real world is built correctly, children gain a unique social experience. They learn to transfer skills from one environment to another, expand their social circle beyond geographical limitations, and develop the cognitive flexibility necessary in the modern world. We stand on the threshold of a new era of virtual communities. Metaverse technologies, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality will radically change the ways Generation Alpha children interact over the next decade. Platforms like Roblox and Minecraft are already experimenting with metaverse elements, blurring the lines between separate virtual spaces and creating a continuous digital experience. Future virtual communities will become significantly more immersive. VR headsets, adapted for children, will allow them not just to see friends' avatars on a screen, but to feel their presence in a shared space. Haptic controllers will add a physical dimension to interaction. Children will be able to build virtual worlds together, literally feeling materials and passing objects to each other. Artificial intelligence will transform the social dynamics of children's communities. AI moderators will instantly detect signs of bullying or manipulation, creating a safer environment. Virtual mentors will help children develop social skills, advising them on how to resolve conflicts or integrate new members into a group. However, The evolution of virtual communities also carries new risks. The hyperrealism of metaverses may make it difficult for children to distinguish between digital and physical worlds. Deep immersion in virtual spaces could potentially exacerbate the problem of digital addiction. There are concerns that children growing up in metaverses may develop a peculiar form of social dysfunction, interacting perfectly in virtual space, but experiencing difficulties with real-world communication. In this new landscape, the balance between technological integration and the preservation of genuine human connection becomes key. Technology should augment, not replace, children's real social experiences. Future virtual communities will be most valuable when they serve as a bridge to real relationships, rather than an alternative to them. Parents and educators will need to learn how to navigate this changing world, helping children leverage the benefits of virtual communities while simultaneously developing the capacity for deep human connections outside of digital space. Ultimately, technology is merely a tool, and its impact on Generation Alpha children will be determined not so much by the platforms themselves, but by the values we instill in them.